All righty. So again, welcome to the next edition of the Veteran Alumni Career Webinar Series. Today, we're going to talk about personal branding and why underselling yourself really can cost in the long run. And it's my favorite part of the webinar. So I'll give you a little bit of info on the front end, and we'll kind of talk on the back end about ways to sell yourself better in the job market. So here's kind of a little roadmap. We're going to talk about just in general what a brand is, why it really matters, how you create first impressions online these days, how to build a strong personal brand, particularly online, and then some cost for not doing it well, particularly as it comes when it comes to negotiation and the opportunities you have to really create value and bring value to the organizations you go work for. So that's kind of where we'll start today. So first, to get us started, if you can put some information in the chat, this would help. A couple questions we have to kind of pose. What are you hoping to learn about personal branding today? And what questions do you have about personal branding? I want to make sure we cover what you want to hear about. So I'll give about 30 seconds to a minute for you to put some things in the chat. When do I need to consider rebranding? If I already have a brand, great. So how do you maybe pivot in terms of career is maybe what Liz is getting at there. Good, thank you, Liz. Anyone else want to throw anything in there? There we go, Ty, thanks. When branding yourself, should it be a combination of yourself and the market you are looking to enter, or all you? Good question. We'll definitely hit on that today. Please keep putting things in the chat if you have them. I'm going to kind of start my presentation here, but we are really looking for your feedback. So thanks so much for engaging there. So when you see brands like these, this is just something I pulled online. Things like brands like Google and Apple and Microsoft and Walmart, they all invoke something for you, whether it's positive, negative, or in the middle. Those brands are something that jump out to you, right? Some people are very loyal to certain brands. Some of you are very loyal to brands because of the experience that it gives you, or the products that they have, or things that you really recommend. And that's really important to know, because just like a company has a brand, you have a brand as well. So we know that these are things that matter, and it really there is a connection between brands companies have and brands that you have as an individual and as a professional. So just know that every brand invokes something for people, and we want those things to be positive about you. So why do first impressions matter? Well, it's really, of course, you are the first impression of your brand, right? So how you represent yourself, how you respond to things matter. And I always ask students this: what should be your goal with every interaction, right? You want every interaction you have with someone, you want them to leave and say, wow, that person really came prepared for that interaction. They knew how to respond, and they knew how to engage. It could also be maybe a particularly tough conflict you handled with someone the first time you met them. All of that matters, right? So as you can see here on the right, spoken word and tone of voice make a small percentage of people making impressions about you, right? So it's more of the body language, it's how you respond and how you engage with people. So I think that's something to always remember that's something that's important to remember. Is it's really important to think about how you respond and how you engage, and it's not by what you say. And these are things that companies are looking for, right? So this is how they know if their brand is trusted out in the marketplace. Looking at things like, does it deliver a good quality product? Does it treat me well and others? Do they quickly address customer service problems? So as you can see, companies put a lot of emphasis and data and engagement behind how their brand is viewed out in the marketplace. Well, we can do the same thing. You can almost flip every one of these statements to match something that's personal to you. So do you deliver good quality work when you're in the workplace? Do you treat people well in those interactions that you have? So please, so it's really important for you to know that the way companies look at brand, you can look at the same exact things when it comes to your own. And every interaction, every time you engage with someone, that your brand is projecting something to those that you engage with. So please know that we're here to kind of help you with within this process. So most people think that the first impression happens when you meet someone in person, like this picture says here. This is probably going to be an interview of some kind, right? And that's maybe when that first impression really comes out. But nowadays, first impressions are being viewed online through your social media, through your resume, through other types of interactions before you ever actually meet someone. So it's really important for you to know that while first impressions in person are critical, sometimes they've already made an impression of you because of what they've seen of you online. So that's where I'm going to spend a lot of time here and how you can do that really well, particularly during the pandemic, because we're not engaging in person as much as we used to. And who knows how long that'll last. So this is kind of there's a joke and reality within this from this comic, which says we no longer look at resumes, we go straight to your Facebook page. There are many organizations that are going to search you out on social media to see what's the brand that you're putting out there. Now, if you're smart, and most of us are, we're going to protect ourselves really well, right? Our Facebook is going to be private. We're only going to connect with people we know and do. But not everyone does that. So they're looking for ways to see if they can engage you that way. So always be looking for how you can protect yourself and put yourself out there. So I'll kind of talk a little bit about the professional side in a little bit, which is using sites like LinkedIn and others to navigate this. So here are the top 3 reasons that employers have rejected a candidate based off what they found online. So this is even after this is before they even interview you or you engage with someone. So the truth behind this is you may never know why they rejected you, but here's what employers say. So drugs or alcohol, maybe pictures that they see online, things like hate speech and racially charged comments, and poor grammar. So that last one, poor grammar, is often people don't tend to think about it because we tend to use shorthand text speak all the time online, right? But a company may not know that you have that relationship with that person, that you can be less formal. So you just have to be cognizant of that and be thinking about that. So here's an actual email. This was something that I found online. This was an actual email from a teacher to a parent about an update about their kiddo. Everything that's circled is some sort of grammar mistake, right? So this may not feel like a big deal, but think about, again, the impression you make when you put your brand out there. And this might be the first time this parent is interacting with this teacher. So please always double check things. If you're anything like me, I tend to rush through emails and just hit send, but it's important to really look at, is this the tone and message I was trying to get across? And even more importantly, is the grammar really correct and match what I'm trying to get across? So this is just one example of how poor grammar can really represent your brand in a negative way. So most of us know when we apply to jobs that the company is going to do a criminal background check. That's pretty normal. We kind of expect that. But there's actually this new concept called, there's a social background check that they can do. And what this does is, if you agree to it, and a lot of times when you're working through applications, you just quickly say, yep, and sign things without really reading what it is. And this is where they're gonna, you've given them permission to look at your social media sites. So there's a company called Social Intelligence, there's others doing this as well, that do social media background checks. I know that sounds insane, but this is definitely happening. So that's why some of the stuff I'm about to talk about is really important for you to think about how you protect yourself, what brand you put out there online, and what maybe potential employers could be finding. So when I say that, most people say, well, I'll just quit social media while I'm job searching. I'll just deactivate it, get rid of it. And actually, I want you to have the opposite view. I want you to use social media to your advantage during your job search. I think getting rid of it, can put you at harm, because if you don't have a LinkedIn profile, if you don't have some of these things that an employer may engage with you on, then maybe they won't view you as strong of a candidate. So please don't deactivate it. I think it's more important to engage in it and monitor it than get rid of it. So here's 3 steps that you can take to really protect yourself online and have a very positive brand via online to build that first impression that you're most likely going to have with a lot of your recruiters, professionals, and people you engage with. So step 1 is to decide what content you want. This is a really simple question, but I think it's important to do. Is there a reason for sharing? Or if you're going to put something out there, just ask yourself that very simple question: is what's the reason for sharing this? And if it's just to say, hey, I'm having a great day, great. But if it's even more strategic and it's to say, I want people to know that I'm invested in this industry that I'm thinking about switching over to, we want to put that out there. So please know that that's a really great way to engage yourself in the social media area. If it's something negative, it probably should deter you from putting that out there. Context matters. So employers, professionals, recruiters, they don't know context online. It's harder to pick that up. So if you have a really friendly relationship with someone and you're able to joke about things that maybe are a little controversial or something that's relevant to what's going on today, that employer won't know that. So it could be viewed as negative. So always remember that the person on the other side of the computer might not have the context. And it's harder via online to really get across maybe the context or what you're trying to, the message you're trying to push out there. So, remember, context matters. Step 2 is to clean up your current presence. This is something people tend to do once a year, but I think it should be done on a more active basis. You need to take an online inventory of what's out there about you, right? So on your social media sites, what's out there, what pictures do you have, what are the things that you're doing. You want to clean up any current pictures, posts, or groups that you're in, and just want to be careful about how things could be perceived. You can ask others to remove content about you if they've tagged you or there are things that other people have put out there about you. And remember to check the privacy settings constantly, because sites like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter change their privacy settings, and sometimes they revert you back to something that's not as protective as you would like. So just a few things to remember. Do this often. One quick setting that I changed on one of my social media sites is anytime someone tags me before it's really put out to the public, I have to approve that. So really small settings like that can help you make sure you've got the right information out there about you. And then step 3, this is the proactive strategic part. You can build and maintain a brand going forward. So create positive content. That could be starting a blog. That could be writing reviews on books that you've read that are relevant to your industry area. You can cross-link content. So when you post something on Facebook, you can also post to sites like Twitter and some of your other social media sites. So that's creates some efficiency, but also makes it a little bit easier to manage. There's this concept called claiming your name, which is going out and seeing if there's a website with your name in the link, looking at those things, and then doing some really proactive branding, whether that's through networking on LinkedIn, connecting with other UCCS alum, joining groups that are relevant to industries that you're excited about, or just simply getting connected, joining the Alumni Association page as an alumni and getting connected to other alumni that are looking for the same types of things. So those are just a few things to do moving forward. So here's my favorite part of the webinar is why does this matter, right? So when it comes to when it comes down to to where you are and what you want to do next, you have to think about the value you're going to create for that company, organization, position, wherever you're going. So self-promotion, and I know as a veteran, self-promotion can feel a little unnatural. You were in the military, which is about being a cohesive unit, being one, really engaging for others. But this is going to be the time for you to be good at self-promoting. What are the things that you are going to bring to the organization that no one else can? And this is all going to lead to the step of negotiation, where you have the opportunity to negotiate the salary and terms of the employment. All right. So this is after they've selected you. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, because this is where you can really make yourself a lot of money over your career in life. So this is one of my favorite quotes that I found, and the number may sound big, but it truly is true based off of research, which I'll show you. So this particular faculty member says, an economist says, that she tells her graduate students that by not negotiating their job at the beginning of their career, they could be leaving anywhere between $1 million and $1.5 million on the table in lost earnings over their lifetime. So you might be asking, well, how do they get to a number like that? Well, let's kind of talk about it. So this is a graphic that kind of showcases how important it is to negotiate, particularly your first salary out of college, or that next salary, particularly if you're switching careers or getting promoted within the organization. So here's kind of a scenario. We have two candidates. One, Hunter, who just accepted the offer at $60,000 and receives a 1% raise annually. So no negotiation. And then we have Jordan, who did negotiate the starting salary up to $66,000 and will receive that 1% raise each year, same as Hunter. But she also negotiated 3% increase every 6 years. Okay, so the $6,000 extra that she is getting may not sound like a lot, but remember, every single raise is based off of the first one. So when she gets that 1% raise, she's going to start getting exponentially more money because she started at a higher rate in a higher level. Also, negotiating that 3% increase every 6 years now gives her, in essence, a 4% raise on that 6th year instead of a 1% that Hunter's going to get. So again, these small little things, $6,000 may not sound like a lot, but over a lifetime can really add up. So it's really important to negotiate. And by the way, we could spend a whole webinar negotiating, so don't hesitate to reach out to us in the Career Center. We're happy to help. Here's another statistic that I think jumps out. A lot of us who are in the millennial phase or the millennial generation, we tend to not negotiate. I think it's a generational characteristic, but here's what happens because of that. So and the reasons why is millennials would say, it says 23.8% who didn't negotiate said they were just happy with the current pay they're getting. 23% also said they didn't know how to negotiate. And 11% said they were really scared of the consequences. If they did it, would the company pull the offer? Well, as you can see, a company will never pull an offer if you negotiate professionally. So if you do that well, that company will not pull that offer. Now, they may not budge, but they may not, but they won't pull that offer. So it's important to don't do it because you're scared of the consequences. And because of this, millennials currently make 20% less than the baby boomer generation at the same age, and 4% less than Gen Xers did at the same age. So we need to bridge that gap a little bit by negotiating, selling ourselves, and really knowing the value we can bring to the organization. So to kind of finish on a high note, I love this quote, which says, "The minute you settle for less than you deserve, you get even less than you settled for." So remember that this stuff's important, and the value you create is tangible and something you can have a lot of good background, research, and engagement in, and we're going to help you work through those processes. So this is something that's really important to us, and we're really training all the students and alumni we engage with how to engage in negotiation. So some key resources that I want to make sure everyone knows about. First is Handshake. So all of you as alumni or current students have access to Handshake. This is a job and internship platform that companies all over the country post jobs to, and they specifically choose schools that they want the jobs to be posted to. So when you see a job on our Handshake site, it means they have chosen UCCS. That's a good thing for you all. There are entry level all the way to experienced level roles on this site. So it's definitely something as alumni you can engage in. Just head to the career.uccs.edu page and we can absolutely help you get connected. LinkedIn is a great resource. So I know a lot of you do this. But LinkedIn is a professional networking site. It is a great way to meet with recruiters, professionals all over the world in all industries. It's honestly how a lot of business is done. So just a really great job platform, particularly when you're job searching, but it is definitely something you can use throughout your professional career, job searching or not. General positions. So if you're kind of wanting a good idea of who's in hiring freezes, who has furloughed employees during this pandemic, there's a really great resource at the Candor site. So head to that. That'll give you an idea of who's hiring, who's not. That list gets updated all the time. So just a really great thing to kind of pay attention to. And then we're here in the Career Center to help you. So please email us to set up a one-on-one appointment. As an alumni, you'll be meeting with me and we'll work through your personal situation and what you're looking for, whether you're looking to pivot careers and do something different. And before I open it up for questions, which I know a few have come in, so I'll get to those. We have one more webinar in this series and it's called Paying It Forward. So this is going to be an opportunity to hear about the ways you can give back to campus, whether that's through your time, through volunteering. Maybe it's through the company you work for. You have internship and full-time job opportunities that could be a good fit for UCCS students. Between us, the Alumni Office, and the Veteran and Military Affairs Center, will give you a lot of opportunities and ways to engage back with UCCS. So we're really excited about this last one. So pay attention for that as emails go out. All right, so I'll kind of open it up to questions now, and there's a few that have come in, so I'm going to make sure I get to those first, but keep throwing them in there if you have them. So Joanna asked, how do your personal brand and negotiation fit together? How can a brand help with negotiation? So I'm a big believer that brand is things like your first impression, the interview process, your resume and cover letter documents. All of those things represent your brand. So how that fits with negotiation is once it gets to negotiation time, your brand will have done a lot of speaking for yourself. Some of it by you personally in an interview, some of it by things they found online, some of it by documents like resumes and cover letters. But by the time you get to that negotiation phase, clearly they want you because they've given you the job. So I think it's really kind of a 1-2 step process where the brand gets you the opportunity. Negotiation is going to be where you actually sell yourself and get that extra money and value that you deserve. So that's kind of how I think a brand can help that process. And there's certain jobs where they expect you to negotiate because of the job. So jobs like sales or purchasing or procurement jobs in the supply chain field. Those are jobs where you're going to be actively selling and negotiating for the company. So they're going to want to see how you do that throughout the negotiation process. So just a little bit of info on how brand can really help with the negotiation. So I'm going to go back to Ty's question, which was, when branding yourself, should it be a combination of yourself and the market you are looking to enter, or all you? So you really have to aim your brand at the market you're applying for, or the industry that you're trying to work in, or even more granularly, the job function that you're really interested in. So it really needs to be done strategically and really focus in on how you build that brand towards the jobs, industries, areas that you're engaged in. So for me, it is a strategic process, not just all you. You really have to learn what the market is expecting. Good question. And Liz asked from the beginning, what do I need to do when do I need to reconsider rebranding? Good, that's a very good question. So Really, rebranding tends to happen in two major areas for me. One is when someone's trying to pivot careers. So when maybe they've been a teacher for 10 years and now they're looking to go into the business industry, that would be a good time to rebrand themselves. Or probably a little more relevant to us, with celebrities and such. Whenever maybe some negative stuff, or you've built a brand that you're just not so proud of. So now it's time to maybe rebrand, and there's many awesome ways to do that. We can help you with that. So those are kind of the two scenarios that I typically see when people rebrand. But there's definitely other times that it might make sense for you to do that as well. So. Any other questions for us? Okay, awesome. Well, thanks so much again for joining us. We did record this, so if you do want to go back and watch it, we will post it on the alumni page, on the Career Center social media page, on our social media, or on our YouTube page for the Career Center. We will put this in many areas. If you need anything or have questions about your specific kind of scenario, please reach out to us. We're happy to do that. I know, and I know we're really excited to engage in those conversations. So. Thanks so much for the opportunity, and have a good rest of your week. Thanks.